Well, hello and welcome to today's Quantum Alignment Show, Aligning with Earth's Energies. Here we go. My name is Scarlett de Bontin, and I am a Level 3 Human Design Specialist and a 3/5 Splenic Projector Orchestrator. So buckle your seatbelts, because while I'm expecting clear skies, technologically speaking, as a 3/5 Splenic Projector and a Gemini rising, I'm never quite sure if any turbulence may turn up, but we'll hope for the best. Nonetheless, I'm thrilled and excited to connect with you all over the various platforms, and I'm so grateful that you have tuned in and joined me here today. And before I continue, I would like to extend my gratitude to Karen Curry Parker and her team for making this platform available for myself and other guest hosts who have hosted before me. Now, if I were giving my acceptance speech at the Academy, I would follow up with, I'd like to thank my family, my parents, and friends who supported me all of these years. But even though I'm not, I still find that they're worth mentioning nonetheless. So thank you. Thank you to them as well. I'd like to mention that today's Quantum Alignment Show was inspired by Matías de Stefano, also known as El Recordador, or the Rememberer, an indigo child, now in his 30s, so an indigo adult, if you will, who from the moment he was born has had the ability to remember everything from his past lives, through which he's been gifted priceless wisdom about our spiritual and physical evolution. And he explains in a simple way how the universe works. Some of you may be familiar with his work from the show Initiation, as seen on Gaia TV at Gaia.com. Nonetheless, as I learned from Matías's teachings, the human design specialist in me recognized the design makeup of the planet. And through channeling of my own during acupuncture sessions, meditation sessions, I connected the dots, which has led to our focus today, where I will share with you the location of the Kundalini imprint, the geographical locations of Earth's energy centers, and explain to you how they function as permanent transits and how to best align with these energies, followed by a Q&A, should you have any questions. We have a lot of information to cover today, so I'd like to invite you all, first and foremost, to align yourselves, center yourselves, take a deep breath. As you breathe and continue taking deep breaths, align with the energy of hum, inspiration, het, contemplation, and hum, the exhale, expression. Now let's begin. Some 500,000 years ago, high intelligence beings taught our ancestors the keys to evolution and survival. Now, they were taught the codes of emotion and how to use emotion to capture the information of their experiences the day-to-day, which was done by following and guiding the evolution of the Kundalini's energies of the earth. The energy of the crown chakra, or in human design, we considered the head energy, was located in what we know as Turkey, where our ancestors were taught how to survive by learning, practicing, and implementing coherence of the mind, coherence of the body, coherence of spirit, spurred by emotion. The third eye, or Ajna energy, was planted in Armenia, where the higher intellectuals taught about the knowledge of the soul. Our throat energy was the gateway between the crown chakra, the third eye, and the heart energy in modern day Syria. The focus of the energy here was to communicate and experiment, express themselves, integrate these expressions and experiences, and then transcend them through emotional energy. The heart energy imprint of the Kundalini is what we in human design know as the G and identity center and will centers combined. And this energy was imprinted in modern day Iran and Iraq. our ancestors flooded to this area to activate the heart of information. In other words, it's where they gathered to share all of the tricks of survival that they've learned thus far, heart-based wisdom revolving around emotions and actions. And as they did this, the energy moved to the solar plexus of the Kundalini, imprinted in what we know as Tibet. The central focus obviously revolving around emotions and learning how to be yourself, learning how to translate emotions into powerful creative energy. The sacral energy of the planet was then imprinted in what we know as Siberia, Mongolia. It's where women were taught how to create realities and then teach men the same knowledge and wisdom. At the time, the higher intellectuals felt that women were better suited to handle this energy, as they were the ones actively, and still today, actively reproducing our species. In turn, women were actually the first shamans of the world. Of course, this is all thousands of years prior to the start of our modern day practices and religions and spiritual quest. The last imprint of the Kundalini, the root chakra, traverses from Asia to Alaska, down the Rockies, down the Andes, to the most southern part of Chile. As our ancestors evolved, this energy also trickled down to the Ring of Fire, a major area in the basin of the Pacific Ocean. And it's with this energy where our ancestors fueled transformation by practicing the energies of all the energies that came before them. The task at hand was to learn how to create and transform their creations, to create an extra reality. As an extension of the earth, humanity's evolution sparked the evolution of our planet as well. So even though the imprint of the Kundalini and its energies are still very much active today, they're a little bit more in the background. So they've taken a back seat to the energies that were groomed to evolve in these general geographical locations. And it's my hope and I trust that by the end of today's show, you'll feel like you have a pretty good understanding of how to align with both the Kundalini's imprint and the energy of their respective locations. Moving on to the geographical centers of the planet, I'd like to explain first and foremost how they act as a permanent transit, or a consistent filter, if you will. For those of you who have a human design chart, imagine taking the entire chart with your fingers, like holding a paintbrush and dipping it into the paint, the geographical location. And while the energy of this center does not give the open, undefined, or white areas of your chart definition, it will be consistently colored by the energies of your geographical location. So the first center, as you can see, that we'll be focusing on is the head center, which in human design, I believe I mentioned before, we recognize the center as the center of ideas and inspiration. It's the energy that has us engaging with thinking, where we're faced with questions like, whose question am I trying to answer? Do I have an answer? If I don't have an answer, where can I get it? And what do I have to do to get it? But on a much larger scale, the core question of this energy is, what can I become? We find this energy at the head of the planet, the Arctic Circle, the North Pole. It's the location that holds the essence of who we are. Our genetic codes and information are in the Earth storage units, the ice caps. This is also where you'll find the personality crystal of your human design chart, the conscious gates, the personality, the tools our souls need to play a role, our types. Our purpose is stored in this location. The energies at play are the tools our souls need to partake in the human experiment, and they are timeless reminders that everything you experience is your vibration, and that we must become what we want. How do we become what we want? It's by remembering first and foremost that we're all one, no matter what our differences. And so in order to become what we want, we must nurture coherence of our thoughts, our mind energy, the I am energy, our hearts, and actions, the cause and effects from our feelings, our emotions. And an ideal way to start doing this is like at the start of the show, by tuning into the breath of the universe through breath work. Heart Math's Inner Balance, a fantastic app that can help you in this regard. And I highly recommend it. So I've been using it for some years now, and I believe that Karen has been a big proponent of it as well. So to truly align with the energy of the head center, we must choose to think in the present. It's when we think in the present, we are more likely than not to be aligned with our human design authority. And then we end up making decisions guided by the flow of this energy, rather than making decisions through stress or default. It's been said that humanity is like the neurons of the planet, and as such, you don't have to make an effort to survive, but you do have to make an effort to live. The Earth's head center affects each of our individual centers as follows. I inspire. The way I think is inspirational. The way I speak is inspirational. I am inspirational. I transform inspiration. I feel inspirational. My intuition, my senses are inspirational. My contributions, what I generate is inspirational. And what I do is inspirational. The region that the head center of the Earth encompasses is, in biological terms, the world's brain, and most arguably the most important organ in the human body. It controls and coordinates actions and reactions. Excuse me. It allows us to feel and think, and enables us to have memories and feelings, all the things that make us human. As I previously mentioned, it has been said that humanity are the neurons of our planet, and as such, we bear insurmountable responsibility. Consider for a moment, while the melting of the ice caps and the rate at which they're melting is something definitely to pay attention to, as humanity's actions or lack thereof have an impact, but it's not necessarily a cause for alarm. Much like the brain secretes hormones, the brain of the planet secretes information into the water. A mantra that I would like to share with you to help you align with this energy is as follows. I tune in and tap into the awareness that anchors, tests, and builds upon that which confuses and can be difficult to grasp, while embodying the frequencies and vibrations of infinite potentials from every dimension and every timeline and every physical expression and response. The Earth's Ajna center, the center of conceptualization, analysis, data processing, the big giant filing cabinet, fixed way of thinking versus multiple perspectives, is found in Greenland. It is also the location of the design crystal, which in our human design charts, you'll notice is the subconscious area. In Greenland, one engages with processing reality through a combination of both knowledge and wisdom in order to understand love by thinking in the present moment. This is how you see who you truly are. This is the energy that of the mind that processes reality, where we recognize truth as a fluid sphere that changes based on the reality lens or the perspective one looks at it. It's also the center that correlates to the pineal gland, which I'll touch on shortly. In the meantime, let's look at how these centers affect our individual centers. I know what I know. I know inspiration. I know inspiration means seeing the present for what it is, judgment-free. I know what I speak of. There's a sense of categorical, compartmental language here. I know who I am. It's about seeing ourselves as parts of a whole in the whole itself. I know how to transform. It's seeing the how-tos of transformation. I know emotions, the knowledge about feeling within to express without, outside. It's infinite knowledge is mine, is yours, is ours. I know how to create means knowing how to observe one's contributions. I know what to do and I know how to do it. In biological terms, the Ajna energy of the planet, as previously mentioned, the pineal gland, and by extension, the nose. It's your mind's eye, which Descartes described as the seat of the soul. Consider how the limbic system influences both the endocrine system and the autonomic nervous system, and seems to have an involvement with emotion, behavior, motivation, long-term memory, olfaction, our sense of smell. In short, this energy directly correlates to channel 2644, which in traditional human design is a channel of surrender, which I like to call as the channel of going with the flow, which deals with history, the patterns of the past, value, integrating and understanding, no matter how painful or fear-based a situation may be, it can be of value when transformed. Overall, this energy connects all aspects of truth with integrity. The alignment mantra for the Ajna is, I see how intrinsically wise I am about the fluidity and evolution of information. I know how to solidify beliefs through creative rationalization. Since I'm a visionary who molds questions and opinions while holding emotional space for the insight of multiple perspectives. I seek and exchange spirit with the world through endless tested ideas that I offer through divine timing. Our next center is the throat center of the planet, which, as you can see, is located in North America. It's the energy that deals with energy modulation and regulation, communication and manifestation. What we say is what we create. Whether we're struggling for recognition, validation, appreciation, or when we're at peace, satisfied, succeeding, and just surprised. The east coast of the throat energy can be thought of as the world's vocal cords. When the focus is turned on solution and compromise, it doesn't matter if there are small disagreements, small or large, really. Consider how the more this energy is used to bulldoze for the sake of being right, the further it is from a solution or compromise. In order to speak, to create sound, we use our vocal cords, the vibration, which combined sound and vibration speeds up manifestation. I cannot stress enough how important it is that we are diligent about what we say, the language we use, the words we choose, and how we express them. Because on the west coast of North America is where you'll find the energy of the top half of the spine. It's root energy. Whatever is being broadcasted on either coast is directly linked. If the vocal cords are bruised or overused or simply unwell, the west coast results in a curved or rounded spine. Rounded shoulders put immense pressure on the lower spine, which I'll circle back to later on. Nonetheless, the combination of the energies at play here are broadcasted worldwide all the same. The Earth's throat center affects each of our individual centers as follows. I share what needs to be said. I speak of inspiration. I speak my mind, speaking about the actions I take, the communications I have, the conversations and manifestations. I speak of who I am and what it means to be me. I speak of transformation, the energy to speak about what and how we transform. I speak about emotions, where we speak of how we feel, why we're feeling a certain way, what impact it has on other people and ourselves. I speak my intuition by speaking about our intuition, where we highlight it and spread the awareness of everyone's unique ability to connect with their own intuition. I speak of my contributions, and I speak of my creations, our accomplishments, and I speak of what I do. With this energy in North America, with this energy, we must really, I can't stress it enough, is be diligent about what we think and say and how we say it. Everything that's said here reaches the rest of the world. And imagine, if you will, that the energy of North America has a microphone held up to it. What is said here not only reaches the entire world, it impacts it. The throat mantra for alignment is I skillfully exchange awareness and express emotions that flow from details from the universe's tapestry. I am in a constant flux of anchoring and reinventing that which has been constructed through awareness of change by bringing people together to exchange through contrast. The all-encompassing stories I share touch on emotion, energy, and motion, the journey of change in the past, the present, and future, from cautionary to carefree. As I share various perspectives, I anchor the contributions of others and build upon them. In the name of democracy, I anchor visions only to let them go as I exchange the awareness of life as a constant metamorphosis. Our next energy is the Earth's Identity Center, which is located in Europe. It holds the heart energy of the world, not to be confused with the ego heart will center in human design. We must remember that heart energy is the seat of the law of attraction, and the heart feels before it understands. So at the core of this energy rests the I am energy of the planet. I am that I am. One of the many gifts the late Wayne Dyer gifted us all with is the I am wishes fulfilled guided meditation, which is a great tool for aligning with this energy. Because when we connect with this heart energy, you allow yourself to observe your judgments of others as reflections of something inside yourself. So in other words, don't solely see others with judgment. Instead, see what it is inside of you. Because through our judgments of others is where we shine the light on our own homework, so to speak. If you base your power off the creations and truth of others, make no mistake that this is a choice and not one that I highly recommend or really recommend at all. But do learn from them, observe them, notice what you're noticing, and then create your own truth. And since everything has a time, the longer it takes for something good to appear is an indication of a low vibration. You have an indication you're dealing with the past. And the faster something manifests, the higher vibration, your future focused. Find your happy thought and milk it. One of my favorite films growing up, not favorite, but one that I enjoyed very much was Hook. And Robin Williams came and had his happy thought. This is that energy. Milk that happy thought. The core of this energy is all about rhythmic harmony, the ebbs and flows of life where the firm hand of tradition meets the hand of change. There's the old adage that's been practiced for centuries. It's the seeing is believing. But the true energy that lives here is feeling is believing, and what we believe is what we see. Aligned with the rhythm and the lessons of divine timing, people can come to realize that true freedom is choice. Viktor Frankl said, everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Even though we're all subject to circumstances in our lives, we are free to choose. If you remember one thing about this center, please remember that. We're free to choose under all circumstances. The Earth's heart energy of the identity center affects each of our individual centers in this one way. I am that I am. I am inspirational. I am what I think. I am what I say. I am transformation. I am transformative. I am what I feel. I am intuition. I am the contribution. I am what I do. Aristotle identified the heart as the most important organ of the body. The heart is the pump through which all of the energies flow. It supplies the rest of the world, energy to everything. And so it is with the energy for all. The thing is, if that power is turned off, everything doesn't just shut down, it starts to die. And a helpful mantra to align with this identity is as follows. I am that I am. I am the loving, bliss-breathing creator who seeks and exchanges love of self with the world, who anchors the vision of self in interaction, and who holds space for all emotions through expression. I anchor and exchange the awareness of love of spirit by listening to the stories of others, whether they're mild or extreme. My physical body allows me to anchor experiences of time gone by while building upon them and testing new avenues not yet explored. I am the all for one and one for all. An extension of the planet's heart energy is the will center. Geographically, the energy is found in Africa, South America, and Northeast Asia. What we're faced with here is energy surrounding will, value, and empowerment. The will energy dances with the question, are you trying to prove yourself? And if so, what are you trying to prove? You'll notice shortly that the will energy of the world also represents our lungs and our connection to the breath of the universe. So consider how these energies located here and connected to the throat, connected to the heart, and the emotional energy of the planet. It would be wise and helpful to listen of the plights and struggles of those inhabiting these locations, instead of ignoring them and, oh, we'll get to it later. As much as it would be wise for those living in these areas to align with empowerment and worth before seeking action. Aligned transformation is change. Unaligned transformation is more of the same. So let's take a look at how the Earth's will energy or extended heart energy affects our individual centers. I transform. I transform inspiration. I transform thoughts. I transform through words. I transform myself. I transform emotions. I transform intuition. It's transformative intuition. I do transformational work. I take transformational action. The biological counterparts of this energy are the lungs and the stomach. Every cell in your body needs oxygen in order to live. And the air we breathe contains oxygen and other gases that once taken in by the lungs, the oxygen is moved into the bloodstream and carried through your body. Your respiratory system performs other roles important to breathing, where take the will energy to the throat. The throat collects incoming air from your nose and mouth and passes it down to the windpipe. You consider this as a happy combination between will and throat energy. This is also energy that supports your sense of smell, the merging of the Ajna and will energy of the planet. The nose is let's say, the preferred entrance for outside air into the respiratory system. So consider how will energy and the identity energies interact with each other. And then the right side of your heart receives oxygen, poor blood from your veins and pumps it into your lungs, where it picks up oxygen and gets rid of carbon dioxide. And the left side of your heart receives oxygen-rich blood from your lungs. And this is that cycle of heart-based transformation. The stomach in Northeast, which you'll see on your screen in Northeast Asia, is the widest part of the digestive system. It not only digests food, it also stores it. So much like we need this energy for digestion, the energy of the planet here needs time to be alone. In human design, one can recognize this energy as the energy of gate 40, an energy that drives a person to seek out others. In other words, gate 40 is the energy of a part seeking a whole or a loner seeking a tribe, and yet at the same time needs a lot of time to be alone. There's an emotional electromagnetic pull to find the tribe, to share the energy with for mutation, emotional energy. Societies need this in order to feel and to transform, no matter how reserved they may be. For the will energy, a mantra to align with this: I transform as I access the initiating and visionary energy of shock to course correct where needed. I transform as I access the initiating and visionary energy of aligned management as I seek and exchange spirit with the world in clever ways. At times, loneliness accompanies the energies. I anchor, build, and test for the tribe. It is always friend and never foe. Our next center is the emotional solar plexus, which can be found in Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. In human design, we recognize the center as the energy that engages with emotions. It's the energy that no matter what emotional state one is in, we experience the subconscious tape that's playing in the background. I know how to ride the stream of consciousness. I got this. Nothing escapes this energy, no matter what we're experiencing or expressing, no matter what we're feeling on the emotional scale at any given moment. So it's important to remain vigilant about asking oneself questions without judgment, such as, when did this feeling start? What has this feeling reflected back to me? Or in other words, what am I to learn from these feelings? Remember, there are times when our emotions have us questioning if something is wrong with us. There isn't. There isn't. An important reminder for those with the emotional solar plexus defined in their human design charts. There's nothing wrong with you. The energies of this location ask us to hypothesize, why is this happening? Not so much from a woe is me pity party, but more from a vantage point of, I'd rather be excited and inquisitive, discovering why this is happening to me. Of course, this can be easier said than done, and our emotions are such fabulous allies in this journey of change and evolution. So they're the driving force of cause and effect in action. If you dig into one emotion, it's like a director yelling action on a movie. A scene unfolds, and then the director yells cut, only for this to continue until the scene has wrapped. Truly fascinating, really. I mean, this is the energy that deals with the kidneys. And we'll circle back to that. And first, let's look at how we align with it. It's the emotion of, I feel. Come on. I feel inspiration. I feel what it is, what I know. I feel what I say. I feel my words hold deep emotions. I feel who I am. I feel transformational, and the transformation that I create has deep emotional feeling for me. I feel intuitive hits. My intuition is emotional. I feel the energy of my work, my creativity and contributions are emotion-based, and they're also emotionally driven. I feel what I do. Seeing as the kidneys, the thing is, most people know that their major function is to remove waste products and excess fluid from the body, but it's a necessary process to maintain a stable balance of body chemicals. And the kidneys are powerful chemical factories that keep our bodies in balance. And this is no less true for the emotional energy of the world. A helpful mantra to align with this energy is as follows. I ride the stream of consciousness fully aware that my emotions are the catalysts and creations of my manifestations. I am a visionary due to the emotions I anchor, build, and test. I feel and create deep emotional bonds of friendship through the exchange of emotion and openness, from fear to loving bliss. My feelings anchor the awareness of principles and desires while exchanging emotions with spirit. I feel all, and I balance all I feel within. The next energy is that of the spleen. You will find this energy everywhere, as it's found within our bodies of water. In human design, we recognize the center as the center of intuition, instinct, and survival. And physically, it is much more than that. As I stated at the beginning, the head center stores our genetic codes and information. Well, the spleen energy, or our bodies of water, are that information. According to the US Geological Survey and Water Science School, The brain and heart are composed of 73% water. Our lungs, 83% water. The skin contains 64% water, and even our bones are 31% water. Water is the element that stands the test of time. What this means for us in a nutshell is align, 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 align. If you go against your intuition, I would say align. If you go against your intuition, I would invite you to journal and contemplate, not necessarily on why you've gone against this intuition, but rather what have you learned from the experience? I mean, in and of itself, this little practice will guide you to practice alignment with this energy. The earth spleen energy affects each of our individual centers as follows. I sense, allowing intuition to unfold. I sense inspiration. I sense knowledge and wisdom, which combined is unconditional love. I sense what needs to be said. The core of I am intuition is the higher self. I express intuitive transformation. I acquiesce to emotions. Sometimes we just need to allow ourselves to feel rather than pushing our emotions to the side. This doesn't mean you have to be nasty to a family member or a coworker, but just simply admit to yourself, I'm angry. Speaking in the present moment, I'm angry right now. Let that dissipate, let it go through you. And then it's also the energy of instinctive creating. It's not about waiting around, not in the sense that you're being forceful or going against the flow. This is an energy of nothing can stop you, even if the divine tried to intervene. Not that it would. It's also, it's the energy of power. The planet's bodies of water correlates to the planet's blood. Perhaps some of you are familiar with the work of the late Masaru Emoto, who gifted humanity with the knowledge that human consciousness can affect the molecular structure of water. Well, it's no different as it pertains to the planet and our own well-being. I ceaselessly emanate the depths of wisdom as I express, experiment, integrate, and transcend all aspects of my life experience. All the values I cultivate and share are tools for course correcting any and all judgments I extend or receive. Any and all judgments I extend or receive. I hold space for all emotions, frequencies, and vibrations as I extend and explore the edge of evolution. The next center is the center of the sacral energy. And this energy is found in Antarctica. In human design, we recognize this center as the energy that pertains to life force and workforce, sexuality. There's a theme of sustainability. It is the Energizer Bunny that will keep going and going, creating and creating as it consistently generates life. Roughly 70% of the human population has this energy defined, and approximately 30% of the population amplifies this energy. So since all of humanity has access to the entire body graph, 100% of the population is generating and creating contributions in various forms, and of course at various times as well. I mean, consider what, just for a moment, what this means. There's an insurmountable energy for life to continue evolving no matter what. Quality of life, on the other hand, well, that's another matter and depends on our individual aligned or unaligned actions. I mean, this is the energy that addresses polarity. In other words, it addresses the contrasts of life. Nothing can exist without duality. Generally speaking, I mean, we tend to break this concept down into good versus bad, aligned versus unaligned action. Light as the path to understanding, our purpose versus dark, the tools we use to create new scenarios, our mission. Since the head of the energy of the planet is the North Pole, which correlates to the first dimension of unity and what can I become, its counterpart at the South Pole tempers, shakes this energy up by actively engaging with this energy and by breaking it down into smaller pieces, where we recognize that change is the only constant. which correlates to the second dimension, where we're faced with our missions and our purpose. So imagine, if you will, duality. There, the mission and purpose are constantly chasing each other, feminine and masculine, respectively. They constantly revolve around each other, dancing with one another like the moon and the sun. Get too comfortable with one, and the other will nudge you, whether you like it or not, and ask for some FaceTime. I mean, Antarctica is also the geographical location that has us engaging with the energies of experimentation and transcendence. It's the energy that births us into our expression. It guides us as we experiment in all aspects of our lives, and forces us to yield and transcend. So food for thought here is the exchange between stability and crisis. This is also why this particular energy asks us if we recognize when is enough enough. It is when we become too comfortable that we are nudged to let go and transcend. It's also why frustration for generator types helps one recognize one's limits and offers one to face the plateau of stagnation. I would suggest with excitement rather than fear, a fear that helps us learn how to stay alive. The Earth's sacral energy affects each of our individual centers as follows. I generate, I create inspiration, I create knowledge, I create new pathways of thought, I create communication, I create all that I am, I create transformation, I create feelings, I generate creation, I create what is done. This energy correlates to the reproductive organs of the planet, and so it's no surprise that a number of species migrate there to reproduce. And beautiful little penguins. Also, just side note, the little images, those are electric chargers and not gas stations. I've been told they look like gas pumps, and just wanted to clarify in case you were curious. An alignment mantra for this energy, for the sacral energy, is as follows. I am the pendulum swing that seeks and exchanges spirit with the world through focused and powerful patterns, while holding and anchoring the emotions that skillfully and powerfully create reality. I create and anchor visions of perseverance and order that I test and build upon. As a physical representation of source, creator, God, the divine, I initiate and mold visions responsibly. I polish the infinite, unfinished dance of contrast through birth, growth, and death on all levels. I am the creator, and I am the creation. Finally, the last center is the root center and encompasses parts of Asia, Australia, New Zealand, and North and South America. In human design, this is the energy that gives us the power and drive to lay the foundation for whatever it is we want to achieve. Everything in the universe is in a constant state of transformation, especially in the Ring of Fire and up and down the North and South American western coasts. In Australia and New Zealand, the combination of emotional and root energy gives the individuals and the world an undiluted account of this energy. I mean, due to how remote these areas are, for sure. The Earth's root energy affects each of our individual centers as follows. It's the energy of I do and I fuel. I fuel inspiration, I fuel knowledge, I fuel communication, and I fuel who I am. I fuel emotions, I fuel transformation, I fuel emotions, I fuel intuition, I fuel creation. These energies correlate to the spine of the world. The spine is one of the most important parts of your body, because without it, you couldn't keep yourself upright or even stand up. It gives our planet structure and support. It allows us to move about freely and to bend with flexibility. An alignment mantra for this energy is as follows. I am the constant flux of the universe, expressing emotions from the stillness of the quantum field that provokes initiating energy that constructs and anchors awareness and acceptance of all things, wanted, imagined, and manifested. I am the fuel of bliss. I'd like to share with you all the breakdown of all of the Earth's energy in full one last time. You'll notice the head or crown chakra. It's the energy for divine and pure inspiration. Ajna, or the third eye, the energy of wisdom and knowledge. The throat, you have the energy for communication and manifestation. The identity, the heart chakra, the I am energy. The will, the extension of the heart chakra. You have the energy to transform. The solar plexus, the energies of emotion. With the spleen, it's the extension of the solar plexus, the energy of our higher selves and pure divinity. And with the sacral, we have the life and workforce energy, that which keeps us going through the four corners of the fourth dimension of expression, experimentation, integration, and transcendence. We have the root, the energy that fuels all. The main challenge of living in our 3D world is finding coherence in each and every moment, finding coherence of all of these energies combined. But we're all up for the task. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. Now, how to best align with the Earth's energies? Number one, simply having the awareness of the lens your design and your conditioning operates through is powerful in and of itself. Consider your own unique energies and the energies of those that conditioned you. What lens did they condition you with? Perhaps your parents were born in Europe and you were born and raised in North America, in the States. In such a case, your conditioning was heart-based. To be expressed through your evolution, you have a heart-based throat of what you're going to express. Another way to best align with these energies is through conscious expression, experimentation, and integration. Now that you have an introductory understanding of these energies, you can use them to better understand yourself and the world around you, wherever you are in the world. Once you consciously and actively express these energies, you milk them for all they are worth. And by doing so, you're transcending them. And then the process is to repeat. You go through it all over again. You can also, you can also align with the Earth energies by asking all of your glands these questions. If you are coherent with the centers, am I connected or am I disconnected? Where is my mental focus? What am I focusing on right now? Do I express myself through truth? Am I balanced? Am I aligned? What do I feel within? What's affecting me? Am I listening to and am I aware of my intuition? Am I allowing? Am I fueling or am I destroying? If you ask yourself these questions and you really focus on the interactions that you're having, it's amazing when then you consider your social interactions with others, and not just on an individual place, on an individual level between your friends and family, but with the world at large. How are our governments and our policies interacting with each other? Oh, that's however you feel about it. There's I like this, I don't like it. And it's not a question of waiting for the outside world to change before you say, okay, I'm going to start asking myself these questions. It's by asking yourself these questions that this is something that you're shining onto the world. So am I allowing? Am I fueling or destroying? And last but not least, again, click here. I lovingly invite you to consider an aligning with Earth's energy session where I'd be thrilled to guide you in your alignment process, each session is catered to your location and design, whether you have definition or openness, and it incorporates ask and receive, EFT, and a form of intuitive divination. Please don't hesitate to reach out for further information. Thank you also very much for your time and energy. I'd like to make some time for questions.
Hi, Scarlett. I was just looking back. So one of the questions that came up, and there was some comments on Facebook on there. When did human design become connected with different countries? Can you, I think you brought that up at the beginning on how you, could you reiterate that, please?
Yeah, so it's really what ended up happening. So if you look at humanity as an extension of the planet, the planet, if you think of it where it's living and breathing in and of itself. So when the Kundalini 500,000 years ago, and these energies, they were evolutionary, for the time. And our ancestors that were evolving with this energy. So if you may have had a group in the head energy of the planet that started out, and that you have family members, and they may be traveling along the line of the Kundalini, maybe traveling down in the direction of Africa, and the will energy there. So it's not so much that all of a sudden it just became, this is an evolutionary process. Does that make sense? Was that answering the question? Is that what they wanted to know?
I think it was, well, a follow-on question. Is this about the human design environments as well? Anna was saying, i.e. I'm wet kitchens. So that's with the...
Sorry, could you repeat that last?
Sure. Well, the environment, when you see on the chart, it gives you environment on that. Like she's saying, for example, her environment is wet kitchens. I don't know if this doesn't really have to do with the pH.
I would have to look into that specifically a little bit more. But what that would mean for me, if I had this, so what is already thinking water? So perhaps it's with a focus in the environment of really making sure that, first of all of us, that we drink enough water, and then activating codes like Mr. Emoto was doing, speaking to the water, giving it the code that you want to activate within yourself. I don't know if that, I would have to look into the...
It's a special system that's in, I think it's the rave psychology. But Sarah asks, can you speak to the starting with the head Kundalini down to the root?
So to speak in terms of how the energy traveled. So how it traveled from Turkey and then went along. So Armenia, Syria.
Yes, she said how the energy traveled.
So that was by our ancestors. Mind you, this was 500,000 years ago. So evolution takes time in this sense. So you had families, and when they're working with this energy and they're evolving, as they're evolving, the planet is evolving. I spoke to, if you look at it this way, historically speaking, so with Europe having the identity energy, the heart energy, it was in a way, once the high heart, which is the UK, traveled to, it connected the heart energy once again with Africa, with the emotion, so with the will energy, and then with the will emotional energy and the root energy of Australia and New Zealand. And then by the time the colonists were coming over to North America as well, it's heart energy, so the energy of the heart coming over to North America. Now, I'm not condoning any violent parts of history. It's the sad truth that we have to bear when we think about where we've come from. But if you think about before the settlers came, you had people who were the gardeners who were the gatekeepers of the throat information of the planet. So through all of their work, it's how this energy evolved. Again, I'm not a history major, and I don't want to touch on how brutal the evolution, but it's like once the heart came to the throat energy of a lot of the things that happened. But in a way, one can see, even nowadays, when you look at North America and the multiculturalism, you have all of the energy from all over the world coming together and then having a microphone held to it. I hope I didn't go on a tangent there, and that makes a little bit more sense to the question about how did the energy of the Kundalini evolve, I guess.
So when at the very beginning you mentioned that this was correlated to a person's information on the planet's chakras, and I'm sorry, I forgot who did the research for the planetary chakras that you mentioned at the very beginning of your talk.
Matthias de Stefano.
And so
Matthias de Stefano, he, an indigo child, and I came across his work, and so for him, that's just the memories that he's had from his past lives, and then he shares insurmountable wisdom. And for him, he told in I think 2 or 3 of initiation, 2 or 3 episodes of initiation, he does touch on where this energy was planted and seeded, so to speak.
And I think that's, Kimberly had a question on Facebook. Human design is about the person and persona. So the answer on how human design correlates with countries made no sense, but it wasn't that you were correlating the centers to countries, but what you did in your download, if I remember what you said again at the beginning, is that you were taking the information that that the chakras were correlated in the macrocosm on Earth. Earth has its own chakras, correct?
Correct. So Earth has its own energy.
So that's the macrocosm. It has its own energies. And then in your studyings in that, along with human design, you took human design out to the macrocosm and could get more information on how you could use the energy of Earth or Gaia with the energy of the centers. Is that, did I put that together?
Beautifully, Cindy. Yes. Yes. I did mention, it's the energy, our personality, and so the purpose and our design. So our energy is pulled from those areas, and one feeds the other as an extension.
Justin on Zoom said, first off, wow, so much information presented in such a systematic and precise way. 3-5 projector living as an embodied example. I'm wondering about the way I can understand ancestry, the current design of this body in transit, specifically when the open centers of this body and being under pressure or transit conditions. Does bringing awareness to the location, heritage, cultures support in working with those energies? He says, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm open to a stream of consciousness.
I believe I understood the question. So where we have our openness and where it deals with our ancestry, back to the example of, whether your parents are European or I'm just gonna say European, the way they interact with and express and the energies so that they have is colored by the heart. And so when you're looking at the energy of the identity, it's a little confused there, but so love-based energy, let's just say that, and that then colors your conditioning. And I don't know where you're from, but I'm just gonna use the example that I use about then being in North America. So not only then you have the I am that I am, and I speak of that, of what I am. So that's an even stronger amplification of that energy. So you have a strong sense, you've been conditioned with a really strong sense of who you are. And then on top of that, you may have that center open. So you don't want to be forcefully, you're just going to be very extremely wise about that heart energy and with the guise of speaking about who you are then. I hope I understood the question. If that's
Kimberly or Michelle on Facebook also mentioned, I didn't catch how you explained human design correlating with countries. However, one of the systems in human design is the I Ching, and the I Ching globe is a microcosm of the world. So the equinox points, north-south poles, if you look at the I Ching as in the globe, 3D, it correlates. So from the macro perspective, yes, it makes sense.
I agree.
And did you want to mention, I have not shared your handout because you didn't mention that. I can share it now if you want to tell them.
Yes, please. So all of the mantras, like I did want to extend that for everyone today, is so wherever you are in this beautiful world, that you have the mantra that really just encompasses the energies of what I touched on today to really align. So again, I'm going to use Europe as an example. So if you're in Europe, that you have that mantra and then recognize this is the energy that the lens that filters through all of my other centers. And again, I said, I mean, it's first and foremost, just having that awareness is recognizing, okay, everything so that I might be thinking or interacting with others, I'm touching on their heart-based energy, on the identity. So the law of attraction. I am the gatekeeper. I'm the one who is sifting what's of value, what's worth speaking about, but from the guise of the heart and not necessarily the energy of, oh, so now I'm going to go and talk about it, if that makes sense.
Yes, and we're slightly over.
Oh dear.
But that's.
Do we have any more questions?
I'm not sure. Kamal answers, what chakra energy are reflectors in the present time? Do you know?
So, I mean, with in the present time, I mean, if you're a reflector, again, I'm going to say, so the way the energy works, it's not a permanent transit that necessarily gives you definition in the centers. It's like when you take the chart and you're dipping your human design body graph into the energy, into the paint of this energy. So they'd still be reflectors. And wherever they are, then geographically, that would be something that they'd be reflecting, like everyone else who's there.
So you did share your email. Now, I see the beautiful slide. You must have final words and how people, if they want to find out more, see more as you're sharing.
Right. I would just like to, so Joseph Campbell famously said, follow your bliss. And I would like to add to that by saying, you know, let us embody our bliss and sing and dance with it together. And that would be my hope for all of us tuning in today and during the replay, that we really just embody our bliss, no matter where we are and what energy that we're working with. And technology, there we go. Thank you for joining me today and for your attention. I'm deeply grateful. And if you did want to reach out, you can reach out via Instagram. I think, Cindy, that you shared that, and my email. And I'm happy to answer any further questions. Thank you so much.